Hello everyone, as has been the case every Saturday for a while, we take another dive into the mysterious world of the Forgotten Languages website, exploring its ties with UFOs. Today we are going to study the topics of search for extraterrestrial civilizations and ponderings on how long have the aliens actually been here. We moved through February 2017 today, and on the third day of that month the website posted an article with the following title: Search for Extraterrestrial Idiots, Gamma Ray Bursts and the Forced Suppressions of Spacefaring Civilizations. While this is an odd title, gamma ray bursts are deadly emissions of radiation, usually accompanying the most violent events in the universe, like formation of black holes. The title suggests that such events could possibly be engineered to wipe out entire civilizations, very much in the spirit of the dark forest theory and master predator species lurking in the cosmos. Let's see if this is what the text is about.
Zaitsev put it this way: suppose each extraterrestrial civilization in the Milky Way has been frightened by its own SETI leaders into believing that sending messages to other stars is just too risky. Then it is possible we live in a galaxy where everyone is listening and no one is speaking. In order to learn of each other's existence and science, someone has to make the first move.
Well, the first part is exactly in the spirit of the dark forest theory and of the three-body problem trilogy too. Whoever makes the first move in space exposes their civilization to potential hunters. Our own civilization has been emitting signals into space for a bit longer than a century now, so an imprint of our achievements and laws is out there, forming a bubble with the diameter of approximately 250 light-years around the Sun. In the greater scheme of things, it is not that much maybe, but if life is prevalent in the cosmos, well, that becomes a potential issue, especially if we assume the others are more advanced technologically, which is a standard assumption made in ufology.
An idiotic civilization is the one who is afraid of others, the one who wants to live in the one-man island. Obviously, any civilization that knows you do not wish to signal your presence will not send any message to you. If they judge you have the technological capability to transmit messages, yet you don't, they won't bother saying hello to you. The final move of an idiotic civilization is wondering where are all the aliens. This is the idiotic Fermi paradox. You are afraid of aliens, yet you wonder where are they.
These words do apply to us, frankly. There are many of us who would welcome the contact with aliens with proverbial open arms. I myself believe that humanity could benefit from it long term, not just and only because it would be an opportunity to discover masterpiece technologies. It could open new avenues of philosophy, art, creature, and so on in virtually every space and sphere of human life. And yet, of course, there is always at least the theoretical risk that we may indeed become hunted and dethroned from the position of the apex predator on the Earth, down to maybe the middle of the evolutionary ladder.
The capstone to Fermi's question is the mismatch between the galactic colonization timescale and the age of the galaxy. Once an interstellar spacefaring civilization develops, it should sweep across the galaxy like wildfire, as viewed on galactic timescales.
On this note, if you have not stumbled upon the website known as the Orion's Arm Project, I would very much recommend it here. It is a vision of humanity's technological and expansionist future based on the laws of physics as we know them and on our trajectory of technology. It describes exactly that, a species advancing through space, colonizing countless new worlds, while becoming technologically advanced and creating literal gods in its development. But the next and the last part chills us with the dangerous reminder of what we have already mentioned, gamma ray bursts, like one which may eventually come towards us from a massive Wolf-Rayet star in the constellation of Sagittarius. It would be enough to wreck the ozone layer on the Earth completely and expose us to a torrent of deadly radiation, literally causing a mass extinction.
Gamma ray bursts are lethal. They occur anywhere in the universe at a rate of one burst every 3 million years, enough to destroy any civilization around. These bursts are certainly lethal if the life forms exposed to those gamma ray bursts are carbon-based. Therefore, we reason that our visitors from outside this world are life forms whose biology is not carbon-based, or, at least, that they are life forms who are immune to gamma ray bursts. Whether this is good or bad news, we don't know yet.
Next, on the 19th of February, we had an article returning to the topic of the Nebian probes we have mentioned in the last episode, but this time with an historic angle to it. The Nebian probes in the Cambrian skies, the art of trading with artificial superintelligence. We have mentioned before that the objects known as the Nebian probes, behaving in many ways like orb-type UFOs, might form a part of surveillance network on planet Earth, very much like some of the similar mentions floating in the UFO sphere. Here we have the reference to the explosion of multicellular life and complex organisms on the Earth, so let's dive into the text.
It looks as if the probes were designed by understanding that the only result they can hope for is a first response hundreds of millions of years into their future. If we assume they first detected our biological atmosphere sometime during the Cambrian, this would explain the current proliferation of Deneb-type probes in our solar system.
This suggests that the probes first found our solar system, and whoever controls them knew the approximate amount of time the evolutionary process would take to reach full sentience and intelligence as we understand it, humanity. This would also explain why there have been strange objects in the skies ever since humanity had existed. It would also explain why the numbers of sightings seem to steadily increase over time, alongside our technological progress. The next paragraph and the figure following it seem to agree with this notion.
Let's now assume the probes subsequently detected our artificially generated EM signals leaked to our atmosphere, some hundreds of millions of years after they detected life on this planet. This will signal them that we have reached a stage in which we have finally developed radio and optical transmitters. Computation of the time lapse between the detection of our biological atmosphere in the Cambrian and the time of the detection of our EM signals will give them an estimate of how intelligent life develops on Earth. Obviously, they have by now detected artificially generated nuclear radiation from our nuclear detonations, hence they also know how far in the evolutionary chain we are.
It would seem we are being monitored, and once again this is something that ufology knows very well, between the sources like the famous Fortune League of 2023, UFOs monitoring our nuclear sites and combat zones across the world, and the examples could follow. The picture in the article also hints at the possibility of this being part of a wider monitoring strategy aimed at finding technological civilizations and candidates for such. The later parts of the text are more disturbing as they seem to fit the threat narrative hinted at by some UFO celebrities, so to say, that the Earth may eventually become colonized by alien aggressors.
We are certain that probes are currently piling up in the ecliptic and they are easily detectable on purpose. Whether that's good or bad news, we don't know.
Simply put, the ecliptic is the galactic equator, the dark band visible in the skies when our own galaxy can be observed, running right through the middle of it. The article hints we have no idea what the probes want and what their plan can be, or rather of their creators. The next paragraph and the picture offers some explanations, though, hinting at the development of AI superintelligence.
If what they're sending is really genomic sequences data, then we can hypothesize that what they want is us replicating that genomic data in our solar system. If you wish something in exchange for helping them, you got it. The probe itself contains technology which is far out of our current capabilities. All civilizations are greedy about technology. We are no exception. Hence, putting a probe just in your backyard for you to get it is all they need for their genome spreading on Earth. That's a hard decision to take. Either you tell everyone you've found objects of extraterrestrial origin that you plan to take home, or you simply destroy those probes without even having been able to understand how they work. You have another course of action, though. Go fetch them without telling anyone. Is that all about the secret space program?
This is followed by a strange exchange, literally about the dialogue. It would seem that the probes that we are talking about today are much more a threat to anything that UFOs are known for and about. Maybe there are different vectors of origin involved too. Perhaps that surveillance network is much more problematic than one of visits by someone. Logically, this makes perfect sense, as someone may be monitoring our capabilities.
Nothing can be brought back. Taking back to Earth samples or objects from other worlds is strictly banned. Period. However, I understand you once brought rock samples back to Earth from the moon? Did we? I see. Look, we are more concerned about non-terrestrial probes in our solar system than about UFOs in our skies. The entire idea about life is survival of species, and sure, anyone facing doom will do everything at hand to extend his species, even at the cost of other species. Survival understands no ethics.
What do you make of today's topics, dear viewers? Between the search for extraterrestrial civilizations and the longing for someone else being out there and the cold, sobering idea that those someones could be actively hunting us, we seem to be treading a very careful balance. That is, assuming that the threat scenario is actually correct, which we do not know. So far, the aliens have not attacked us, so what could they be waiting for? Let me know in the comment section down below. We will continue our journey through year 2017 in the next video, so stay tuned. Thank you very much for watching this one. I would massively appreciate if you could like and share the video, perhaps subscribe to the channel, as it helps immensely and spreads the awareness of us humans not being alone in the universe. See you soon in the next video. Take care.